Dangote refinery's petrol production shakes European market. Federal government counters Emir Sanusi's comments on Nigeria's economic hardship. Mixed reactions trail Armed Forces Remembrance Day observation. And on the foreign scene, 71 killed in fresh airstrikes amid Gaza ceasefire agreements. Welcome to News Updates on Trust Television. My name is Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, says the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and its efforts to ramp up premium motor spirit production are impacting the PMS market in Europe. The 650,000 capacity Dangote refinery, which began operations in January last year, started producing PMS in September, years after the country had relied solely on importation of fuel for its needs. Since it started production, the refinery has exported petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel to other countries within and outside Africa. A report by OPEC on Wednesday stated that the emergence of Dangote refinery has reduced the importation of petroleum products from Europe to Nigeria. The report stated that the gasoline crack spread in Rotterdam against Brent increased slightly on healthy exports, although gasoline inventories at the Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and Antwerp storage hub remained high. It added that the gasoline inventory builds are expected to extend into the coming month amid a lengthening gasoline balance in the Atlantic Basin due to winter season demand. The Emir of Kano and former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Muhammad Lamido Sanusi II, has said that he will not offer any assistance to or advice to President Bola Tinubu and the federal government on how to tackle the economic challenges facing the country. The Emir, who stated this on Wednesday while delivering a keynote lecture at the 21st Memorial Lecture at the late legal luminary Chief Gani Farami held in Lagos, said he could easily explain the factors contributing to the country's current economic challenges and how most of these issues were predictable and avoidable to Tinubu, but that he has, however, chosen not to offer any such insight or assistance to the administration. The former CBN governor criticized Tinubu on the makeup of members of his cabinet and economic team, saying they lack credibility and therefore cannot offer anything meaningful to the nation.
To be honest, I can stand here today and I can give a few points that are contrary, a few points that explain perhaps what we're going through and how it was totally predictable, most of it, and maybe avoidable. But I'm not going to do that. I've chosen not to speak about the economy and the reforms or to even explain anything because if I explain it would help this government and I don't want to help the government. I don't want to help this government. You know, they're my friends. If they don't behave like friends, I don't behave like a friend. So I watch them being stewed and they don't even have people with credibility who can come and explain what they're doing. But I'm not going to help. I started out helping, but I'm not going to help. I'm not going to discuss it. Let them come and explain to Nigerians why the policies that are being pursued are being pursued. And meanwhile, I'm watching a very nice movie with popcorn in my hands. I'm watching them stew. But I will say one thing. What we are going through today is at least in part, not totally, at least in part, a necessary consequence of decades of irresponsible economic management.
On Thursday, the federal government on its part hit back at the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, saying the monarch's help is not needed to validate the reforms of President Bola Tinubu. Information Minister Mohammed Idris, in a statement, expressed disappointment that Sanusi, who once hailed the removal of petrol subsidy and the unification of forex rate, now subtly condemns the policies because of a shift in loyalty. In a response to the Emir, the information minister said it was amusing that a traditional ruler of Sanusi's status would publicly admit to shuffling off saying the truth because of personal interest hinged on imaginary antagonism. As Nigeria pays tribute to its fallen heroes on Armed Forces Remembrance Day, some retired military officers reflect on life after service with gratitude and fulfillment. In Jos, the Plateau State capital, retired Air Force officer Musa Salihu stands as an example of a smooth transition into civilian life. Ado Musa reports.
Musa Salihu, still radiating the discipline and pride of his military days, returns from the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day ceremony in full uniform. A retired warrant officer of the Nigerian Air Force, Salihu resides in the Ali Kazaure community of Josno local government area, where he has been warmly embraced by the residents.
Before we left the service, we have to go for 6 months training to coach you how to be with the community. You know, when we do barak, we are giving order always, but in the community it's not like that. Anything you are having, at least you must follow it the way the community will like you. Otherwise, you will receive some insult as an old soldier. That is the thing. But the life of community, in fact, is very, very simple. Very, very simple. It depends on the way you, the liver, be with the community. If you have your self-respect, the community will respect you.
Reflecting on his years of service, Salihu shares fond memories and emphasizes that, given the chance, he will gladly return to serve his nation.
During the time I'm serving, most of the responsibility on me by my superior. I will still remember that, because if you are loyal to the government, they use you anyhow, you cannot say no. So you work without rest. Like me, in fact, the time I was in academy, I was the 3RSM of the academy, Nigerian Defense Academy. And I know the type of job. And that is why today I'm very happy, because most of the generals today, they came up through my training.
Beyond his personal reflections, the community members speak highly of Salihu's contribution to their welfare.
And unlike what other people were thinking, this kind of barrack life, this kind of military mentality, is just like a simple man. I can describe him. So simple, so humble, so helpful to the community. He uses the little he's earning from his pension to impact a lot of life to support to us living within this community. He has sunk towards 2 boreholes in this community. He has spent a lot of thousands of naira to fix our roads to be accessible to the entire community. And he lived peacefully. His relationship with the community has been so cordial.
We have enjoyed living with Alhaji Musa for many years. He is a kind-hearted man. As a retired military officer, he is always ready to help, no matter the time or circumstance. If you approach him for assistance, he will never hesitate. Even in the middle of the night, if someone needs to be rushed to the hospital, he willingly provides his vehicle. Salihu credits his success during and after service to the respect he maintained for his senior officers. He expresses joy at being part of this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day, celebrating not just the sacrifices of the fallen hero, but the camaraderie that remains among living. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Now moving to Gombe, where the Kantoma market in Billiri is poised for revival as the government unveils plans to rebuild the market destroyed during the 2021 Billiri crisis. The announcement has brought renewed hope to traders who lost their means of livelihood in the aftermath of the crisis. However, alongside their excitement is a call for fairness in the reallocation of shops. Hassan Koli reports. Reports will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Now moving on, bandits on Tuesday night shot a medical doctor who was on duty at the Kankara General Hospital in Katsina State. The attackers invaded the hospital, shot the doctor, Murtala Saleh, in the right thigh, while one Kamala Suleiman was injured on the knee. The police said both victims are currently receiving medical attention and are in stable condition. Police spokesman Abubakar Ali said policemen in the area engaged the bandits in a gun duel, but noted that 3 other persons were kidnapped by the gun-wielding criminals. During the onslaught, the spokesman said efforts are being made to ensure the unhurt rescue of the kidnapped victims as well as the arrest of the perpetrators of the act. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) has filed a 5-count charge of unlawful diversion of public funds and money laundering against Jimmy Lawal, a former senior chancellor and advisor to the former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. Lawal was charged alongside Umar Waziri, Yusuf Inwa, and Solar Life Nigeria Limited for alleged financial misappropriation. The charge was filed by the Assistant Chief Legal Officer of ICPC, Osuebeni Akboni Misinga, on January 15, 2025 at the Federal High Court in Kaduna. In the charge sheet, the ICPC alleged that Jimmy Lawal sometime in 2018 indirectly took control of the sum of 10 million naira from the Kaduna State account in general operational account and paid it into the Guarantee Trust Bank account of Solar Life Nigeria Limited, an account for which he was the sole signatory. The ICPC also indirectly taken control of 47 million naira from the Kaduna State Ministry of Finance in July 2018 and another 7 million which he moved from the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service account and later transferred to Solar Life Nigeria Limited. Farmers in Bauchi State have been advised to always refer to information on weather forecasts and patterns of rainfall as part of efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change on crop production in Nigeria. An agric expert gave the advice amid lamentations from farmers over the impact of climate change on agriculture. Trust TV's Adamu Imam examined how irrigation farmers are coping with the climate change phenomenon in Bauchi State. To report.
Although local farmers make a significant number in Nigeria, however, the challenge of climate change is blowing an air of uncertainty on many peasant farmers and their ability to sustain farming. With the output from their farms in 2024 relatively below expectations, they are hoping to get better yield this year. During farming activities, for instance, you realize that the weather frequently changes from cold to hot and vice versa within a short time. This changing favors and helps some crops to grow, but there are other varieties that cannot withstand the mixture of the weather at that moment. So this puts a heavier burden on us to carry out the watering carefully. The wind pattern is affecting irrigation activities, especially when we are watering the farm. If the weather keeps on changing, the place usually dries up. So by extension, we spend more money to fuel the water pump in order to water the area completely. This is not easy for us at all. Wheat farming, for instance, needs more water and fertilizer than any other crop here. But seriously, climate change is affecting the situation at the moment. Experts say early planning for the farming season is also a pathway for a better yield and bumper harvest that will help address food insecurity.
That most of the farmers, when they discover that the soil is not fertile enough again to give them what they wanted, and the cost of inorganic fertilizer is a little bit expensive, so most farmers cannot afford the quantity that they're supposed to put on 1 hectare, for example. So the next thing is to travel far and continue to cut trees. And as they cut trees, they produce charcoal, they produce firewood from it. And at the end of the day, we are deforesting the forest. And before you know it, it will become a desert place.
Any productions that has what uncertainties, the agricultural productions, may require what you call insurance cover. They have to register their farms to, with insurance company or insurance organizations, so that in any situation whereby We are not hoping for that. If there is case of what flooding or any disasters, the insurance cover will cover your production cost so that the farmer will not go unlost. Than to say that there is no any insurance cover, there is no anything like that, and you are just investing your millions of naira. Technically, or I can say advisably, it's not in a good way. It's not right.
They also urge the government to come up with strategies that will help local farmers in the fight against climate change impact, as according to them, their activities can boost the nation's economic sustainability growth. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, reintroduction of history into schools curriculum excites teachers and students in Delta State. More to come after the break. Do stay. You are welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Dangote refinery's petrol production shakes European market. Federal government counters Emir Sanusi's comment on Nigeria's economic hardship. Now moving on, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has been honored with the Diamond Prize Award of Excellence in Food Security from the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. The award, the first of its kind in Nigeria, recognizes Governor Namadi's transformative contributions to the agricultural sector, which have positioned Jigawa State as a vital contributor to the nation's food production and economic diversification. The report.
The event also saw Governor Namadi being named as patron of the NIPR, joining a distinguished group celebrated for the exceptional contributions to national development. NIPR National President Ike Neliaku praised Governor Namadi as a model of effective leadership, highlighting his dedication to enhancing food security in Jigawa State. Neliaku announced the establishment of an NIPR Umar Namadi Prize for the best graduating students in mass communication and an Umar Namadi Center of Excellence in Development and Agricultural Communication at the two Jigawa State tertiary institutions. The award presentation followed a visit by the NIPR team, led by Governor Namadi, to a wheat farm in Baranda village, showcasing Jigawa State's strides in wheat farming. The visit underscored the state's commitment to agricultural advancement and sustainability.
It's an art and it's a science. It talks about monitoring of trends, which is what we are doing today. We are monitoring trends. We are analyzing trends. We are predicting consequences. And we are counseling organizations how best to do what they are doing. And we are implementing planned program of action so that we can serve both humanity, society, and public interest. That is what public relations is all about.
In his acceptance speech, Governor Namadi expressed gratitude for the awards and dedicated it to the people of Jigawa, whose hard work has engineered remarkable success in the agricultural sector. He reaffirmed his administration's focus on food security, which aligns with the Renewed Hope initiative under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Our success stories are legendary in this regard. Indeed, building on this, our sustained support and initiative in the implementation of agricultural transformation agenda has today firmly placed Jigawa State as a leading producer of some major food and cash crops in Nigeria, including wheat, rice, sesame, hibiscus, among others. This has also placed Jigawa State as a major contributor to the national food security and the diversification of our national economy.
Many of us in the Jigawa State Executive Council, His Excellency, have inspired. Every day His Excellency is committed to see that he works seriously. I remember this morning, some of the council members are testifying to me that they really appreciate what the governor is doing, going to the farm. This is where they see the revolution taking place in Jigawa State with practical example and the testimony from the community showing how His Excellency is working assiduously to bring development of Jigawa State.
Key milestone under Governor Namadi's leadership includes expanding irrigation, modernizing farm techniques, supporting farmers, developing agro-processing industries, enhancing livestock production, and planning for an agricultural transformation agency in 2025. As a new NIPR patron, Governor Namadi emphasized the crucial role of public relations in governance, urging NIPR members to continue promoting transparency and accountability in Nigeria.
The reintroduction of history in the curriculum of secondary schools has sparked excitement among teachers and students in Delta State. This move follows the federal government's recent directive to include history as a standalone subject in the basic education curriculum. According to them, the reintroduction of history will give students a sense of self-identity and understanding of their cultural heritage. Jonathan Awaya completes the report.
Teachers who spoke with Trust TV are enthusiastic about the prospect of teaching history again, citing its relevance in shaping young minds and fostering national pride. According to them, history is essential in helping the learners know who they are, where they come from, and where they are going.
I like what the president did by introducing history or historical studies in school so that the children will learn the past and know how to behave and how to talk about the future. So let them continue. They should not, nobody should remove history in the learning curriculum of Nigerian secondary schools because it was very, very of paramount importance. So I like what the president did, and they should continue to learn and write more books on Nigerian history, because when you read history of a country, you know whether we are progressing or not. And I believe we are progressing, because a lot of things that has happened in the past cannot happen in the future again.
Well, the introduction of history in secondary school that they brought back recently is very, very nice, because so many students, not just students, they are lacking behind. Because if you have history of what is happening, history is not like information. If you are not informed, you will be deformed. But if you are informed, whatever that is before you, you know how to handle it. And not just that, the history they brought back will help these students to gather whatever they are doing. It will even help them in other subjects, not the history alone.
Students are also eager to learn about their country's rich history, cultural diversity, and the struggles of their forefathers.
Studying history will help us as a student to understand and appreciate our cultural heritage. It will give us an opportunity to have an insight into events, politics, and social issues. It is a welcome development.
It will help us to understand our culture, our different cultures, and our society and history content.
The reintroduction of history is expected to have a positive impact on the education sector in Delta State by promoting critical thinking, analytical skills, and a deeper understanding of Nigeria's past, present, and future. Jonathan Awaya, Trust TV News, Asaba.
And on the foreign scene, a ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas is expected to come into force on Sunday. But for now, the fighting continues. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency says at least 71 Palestinians have been killed since the deal was announced on Wednesday evening. A vote by the Israeli cabinet on the deal has been delayed, with the Office of Israel Prime Minister accusing Hamas of reneging on the arranged agreement and creating a last-minute crisis. But a Hamas official denied the allegation, saying the group is committed to the deal. And finally, in sports, Super Eagles B have been drawn in Group D for the 18th African Nations Championship. They were drawn alongside Senegal, Congo-Brazzaville, and Sudan. The draw for the final tournament of the 8th African Nations Championship was held in Nairobi, Kenya on Wednesday evening. A total of 19 countries will participate in the tournament, including joint host Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. Others are Nigeria, Morocco, Guinea, Senegal, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, and Central African Republic, Algeria, Niger, and Niger Republic. Also participating are Congo, Sudan, Rwanda, Zambia, Angola, and Madagascar. With that, we've come to the end of News Updates here on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media handles for news, programs, and documentaries. Thank you for watching. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.